Ah, good morning, good evening, depending on where you are in the world. Welcome. I had a thought come to me the other day that I wanted to share with you to start with, which is a pause is a terrible thing to waste. Do you remember back when we used to have those, like a brain is a terrible thing to waste? And it just occurred to me that we have this amazing opportunity right now. And this pause, we're now, getting the information that the first pause wasn't enough. And so now we have another pause. And I wanted to focus in our sharing today on you're really taking advantage of and really dropping into the advantages of the pause, of actually encountering and being able to take a pause. And the other thing, you may or may not notice that what I have around my neck, which looks like a big blue stone, is actually a wave. And it's a symbol that has always been very important to me, the sense of catching the wave. And so what I'd like to have you start with today is imagining yourself floating in your favorite, like on a surfboard or on a raft or on something that you just make up right now. I'd like you to be floating in your own essence ocean. So I'd like you to take a moment and just create that for yourself, that you're floating in the essence ocean. And I'd like you to let yourself feel that essence and love are really being able to be in the same space. And that a lot of what happens for any of you who've done boogie boarding or have done any kind of being in the ocean, part of being in the ocean is feeling the wave, feeling what's the ocean and everything is holding me and what's the wave. And so I'd like you, as you're being in your essence ocean, I'd like you to notice, give some attention to you and to how you notice a wave. How do you notice something that you want to move toward, or you want to pause and be where you are? Because our loops and scoops are really all about creating more free choice. That especially free choice with how we use our attention. That incredible nutrient that we mostly, as I've observed, most people, their attention is caught and they're at the effect of what's going on around them. And so because things are so jangly right now, I'd like you to notice as you're sitting there on your surfboard or for me, it would be a boogie board, and I'm just kind of floating and I'm feeling. So I'd like you to let yourself float and feel into you and what you're noticing in you that lets you know, yes, I want to move with this. No, I think I'll just stay and continue enjoying connecting with essence. And as you're there on your surfboard or you're there floating in your essence ocean, start giving some attention to what might be going on around you, things that you notice kind of coming through. And that could be a feeling that comes up, a memory, something happens, and you notice that it kind of jangles you a little bit, and then you can settle back into riding the currents and feeling the support of all of that essence ocean holding you. And let yourself take a moment to respond to when you are feeling that essence ocean. how can you let that in? So you could even love scoop from the ocean itself and give that to any place in you that, especially I've been noticing there's a lot of jangle. There's a lot of in the collective right now. And so any place that you're feeling jangly, let yourself just scoop up or slurp up. You could slurp it up through your feet. You could absorb it through your skin. You could listen to the ocean and take that in. So use your senses to receive. This is such an important time to receive and to fill up your own experience of being in love and being surrounded by love. And you know how when any of you who have been in the ocean and you're watching, you're looking out to the horizon, you're looking out around you. Sometimes I've looked out around me and I actually have had the experience of seeing a mother whale and her baby going by. So if you've had those kinds of experiences, you can draw on the feeling of connection, the feeling of being surrounded by other creatures, other plants that are also in the ocean of love and are being nurtured by the ocean of love. So instead of starting with our loop of awareness, we're starting with really the acknowledgement that we are all being held by the 80-90% of us that is the ocean. We are the ocean, surrounded by skin that keeps our ocean from just spilling out into everywhere. So letting yourself, I think one of the keys right now is feeling the wave and being able to pause. So just take a moment as you're sitting there and being in the ocean, take a look at the last couple of days and what has pulled you out of the pause, where you've been compelled to act or to move towards something, or you've gotten startled, or you've gotten a fight going. And I'd like you to just notice where that impacts you all over you, and where in you can you find the pause. So as you let yourself look out and remember, like, oh yeah, that really got me, where in you does the pause live? So for me, it's really connecting with, I connect through the feeling in my body and the expansion out to the sides. So I want to have you just try on feeling like your gills, your fish gills, expanding out to the sides and giving you that pause. You can feel there's this urge right now to do something, the urgency, and you can let yourself feel that. And can you pause in the middle of that? Can you find the pause in the urgency? So finding your own, how you can spread out to the sides. Because a lot of our urgency comes from this direction. So what if you played with all kinds of different ways of spreading your wings, opening your gills, feeling the webs of your feet and the webs of your hands, and the pace. So that's the other aspect that my wave pendant reminds me of, is that there is information in us of feeling when something arises that we want to move on, feeling the wave arise of, oh yeah, I want to take that ride. And feeling, oh no, that's a little bit bigger than I want right now. So I'm going to just rest into the ocean and let that wave go by. So let yourself experiment with feeling something in your life that feels really urgent right now. And let yourself experience that urgency in your body. And take a moment to kind of get on that wave, and feel what that does to you when you get on that wave and that wave is taking you and off you're going. Yes, and like one of the things I learned when I was learning to swim, because I'm a California girl, I learned how if a wave is coming, I don't want to take that one, I can dive under it. So how can you dive under right now? So we have a couple of different, we have spreading out, getting wider. It's like getting your buoys out, or in a catamaran where you have the wings there that help stabilize you. So when you spread out into the pause, that's one way of really enjoying space rather than speed and time. And another one is you can feel the wave and you dive under. So let yourself literally dive under the wave and then come up in that open space. And what are some different ways that you can dive under? So you could go backwards under it. You don't have to always go head first. You could duck, so you could do a sort of a little water sumo. So feel yourself going under and feeling, you could even bounce off of the bottom and come back up into that space. So my sense is that one of the most important skills for us right now is being able to catch and enjoy the pause, being able to go more horizontal rather than bullet train, and being able to sink down and feel all of the inner realms, all of the inner space that we experience. So let yourself play with those with, first feeling urgency, like gotta. And of course, what I notice is I'm taking a breath. So one of the great advantages for us of not living in the ocean is that we have access to lungs rather than gills. Some of us still have the gills as well. So let yourself notice that taking a breath also allows you to find the pause. And so let yourself experiment with the most expansive, like get into urgency and then choose to take a breath and let the breath move in some different dimensions that you maybe haven't experienced recently. So on the diagonal, or breathing into your back, or breathing way down into the earth and then bringing that up. So it's a breath love scoop. And we're also playing with loop of awareness, but in a different way, because when we get into urgency, it's all going out. And so we're really focusing on coming back home here with loop of awareness, because there's going to be no end of things that are going to want to pull your attention. So I want to invite you this week especially to focus on the how can I create pleasurable pauses, even in the midst of urgency? So even just try that on of, I'm willing to create pauses. I'm willing to find the pause, to let the pause inform me about which waves I want to take. And see if you'd be willing to let some things go by and wait for a better wave. Wait for a wave that's just right for you, that's going to give you a pleasant and productive ride, rather than a tumble that you have to recover from, which happens, but we can really choose. So as we're ending for today, I'm putting my hand over the wave, appreciating the wave, appreciating our ability to discern and to choose. So I invite you to create some and spreading out as we're ending for today, and appreciating yourself for being willing to enjoy love and space. So thank you. And until next time, we can unmute ourselves and at each other. Little hums, big hums. Thank you.
Thank you. Love that.